I have a lot of godchildren. So when I used to go see their parents or I would go babysit them, I would do bedtime stories with them because I love bedtime stories. First of all, they're just a great excuse to read books, but I love bedtime stories. Um, then in COVID, I started reading them on Zoom, and I just haven't stopped doing that. So I have weekly calls with my godchildren where I read them bedtime stories. Some of them are young, some of them are teenagers, all of them get bedtime stories. Some of them are books I love, some of them are books that they love, some of them are books that like I think they need to hear for like life lessons. Like one of my goddaughters had short curly hair and she was just very upset that she didn't have like Rapunzel hair. One of my goddaughters has freckles. So if there's a book that applies to like what they're not happy with about themselves or what they need to learn to accept about themselves, like, whatever. One of these is a book that Julianne Moore wrote called Freckle-Faced Strawberry, about a little girl with freckles who hates them because freckle-faced strawberry, but in the end learns to love them. The mom of one of my godchildren texts me and she's like, "Do you know they're banning this book?" She's like, "Do you in your mind think that there's anything about this book that's bannable? Like, what am I missing?" It was one of like 3 or 4 books we had found that were about freckles. So we had both started reading them to my goddaughter to like, freckles are like beautiful. And she's like, "Help me understand. Like, you've read the book, I've read the book. I don't know who else has, but like, help me understand why they would ban this book." And I'm like, "The book about freckles?" Now, it was written by Julianne Moore, the actress. And I know she's been vocal anti-Trump, so I was like, I think it's probably more about her. But specifically, just this book, and like, I went to look it up, it's true, the Trump administration has it under review, as it is potentially related to gender ideology or discriminatory equity ideology topics. Which I had to Google what the hell that meant. Like, I get it, but I'm just like, what's more alarming is there is a specific department now in the White House that they won't tell us what White House department or who specifically, but this book is in fact under review and has been pulled on shelves in military base schools. So at the very least, at military bases right now, kids can't read about freckles. Officially, this department, which cannot be named, nor will the person reviewing this book be named, but they found a small number of disturbing topics in that book that require further review. Like, I pulled it back up and I reread it, and I'm like, this isn't even by the furthest stretch of the imagination trying to convince kids to change their gender. But I mean, if they can see that, like, the books I've read to my godchildren about, like, your curly, kinky hair, like, the Bible suggests that a man whose wife is infertile, his wife should let him sleep with younger, more fertile women because it is his job to populate the earth. That's okay. Teaching a young kid that her freckles don't make her different, they're just part of who you are. Fucking golden age of art, my ass. I'll have to go download some more subversive materials that I can read to my godchildren. This is bullshit. We're not going to monitor our foreign enemies. We are going to open ourselves up to all kinds of 9/11s. But thank the Lord, we're going to not teach a young girl to love her freckles. Priorities. Fucking priorities.